I'd be happy to show you the way.
Do you know the way?
Oh no. Alrighty then, my brothers. It is I, Daniel, but you may call me the pop culture dude. So for those who have watched my past videos on the channel, I used to make Sonic movie videos in full length, but now in recent times I've been making Sonic movie 3 and Knuckles news in the form of 60-second shorts. Why? Just to get some good ad revenue, but secondly, I just feel like it's a lot more easier to do. But ever since I made a poll about it, most of you guys don't mind the shorts, but I'm gonna make a full length one. But for this one about Knuckles, I mean, we are very, very close to see the series coming very soon on April 26th. From the trailers, the cast promoting themselves, and even seeing Knuckles in a WWE promo.
Yo, ratio Knuckles.
Are you sure about that?
Also, we've got more info from the producer of the show, Toby Asher, who talks about the making of the Knuckles series and possibly hinting some more potential Sonic spin-offs in the Sonic Cinematic Universe, but we're going to talk about that later in the video. But for now, we've got ourselves some brand new images of the Knuckles series that is leaked from the Paramount Plus website in full HD quality. So without further ado, let's go speed into these images. Knuck if you buck! So in our first look screenshot of Season 1, Episode 1, which is titled The Warrior, who happens to be directed by the Sonic movie director Jeff Fowler, who directed the pilot episode, and in this image we see Knuckles being buried down like a real-life echidna, just going to the techniques of showing him the way to be an echidna warrior.
I am an echidna warrior.
Then here in the next image that still takes place in the first episode is where Knuckles is sitting down in his ordinary throne, his Game of Thrones looking chair filled with junk and spikes. Next we see the same shot of Knuckles just organizing his own gladiator fight looking room inside of the Wachowski house, but the major difference is we see his next comrade, Ozzy, in his mighty Viking helmet, and now he's looking like the butter dog, the dog with the butter.
Butter dog, the dog with the butter.
Next we see the return of Sonic the Hedgehog himself, who is voiced by the one and only Ben Schwartz once again.
Hey buddy! Isn't it great to finally relax?
Honestly, it's good to see Sonic and Knuckles getting along with each other like buddies. I mean, when they first met each other, they started off as enemies in the events of Sonic Movie 2, and then they agreed to be a part of a team to phase out to Robotnik at the end of the second movie, so it's good to see that this TV show will go a little bit more dive deep of Sonic and Knuckles' dynamic and their friendship, quote-unquote. So in this exact same shot from the trailer, we see Sonic teaching Knuckles more about technology and Earth culture, like we see Knuckles being confused with the VR set, and hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. Is Sonic live streaming on TikTok? Bro, that's cringe, boo. I mean, to be fair, he did floss in the first movie, so he's totally Gen Z.
Sonic 1, a big tank 0. I'm sorry. Earth is my turf, G.
If you don't know how to floss, you'll be lost without me.
Okay, fine, I'll let this slide, all because Jim Carrey just made a cringy Gen Z joke and actually make it funny. But anyway, I'm going off topic, on with the next photo. As you see here in this image, we see Knuckles holding a rubber chicken as he's looking confused. This has got me a brilliant idea. Hey Knuckles, I have a joke for you. Why did the chicken cross the road? I should not laugh at your weak jokes, Hedgehog, but why did it cross the road? So she could keep her egg sack away from Eggman, haha, get it? I know, that joke was pretty dumb, but come on, I just thought of something funny, you know what I mean? Anyway, next image. Next, we have Tika Sumpter here, who's returning as Maddie Wachowski in this one episode of the Knuckles series. And yes, I do say episode 1 because that's where it says underneath the title. And secondly, she's wearing the exact same jacket where we see Knuckles chuckling down on a bag of Doritos. And here she is again, standing next to Sonic and Tails, who are also confirmed to be in the first episode together. Well, judging by the trailer, ever since Knuckles made a vow to Sonic and the Fox as he speaks after the events of the second movie, where he decides to move in with Sonic and Tails, but since he doesn't fit in with today's human Earth culture, that's where he decides to move in and feel more at home of making a tribal gladiator fight arena so he can fight to the death, which Maddie in the household doesn't seem to approve, but that's where Knuckles feels at home, which leads me to a theory.
Just a theory.
Based on my research on the IMDb casting credits, where obviously Knuckles and Wade are the main stars of the show, but Sonic and Tails are confirmed to be in the first episode, which basically confirms that we probably won't see them that much in the show. Why? Because mainly Maddie would not just kindly immediately kick Knuckles out, but suggests that he should move somewhere else where he feels more welcome and more open to his masculine lifestyle as a tribal warrior, which that leads to possibly him moving along with Wade throughout the series. First of all, it makes sense to have the main characters like Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Maddie all together in the house, excluding the Donut Lord. And secondly, it makes sense that Jeff Fowler's directed the first episode because, hello, these are the main characters of the last two movies. I mean, even if Sonic, Tails, and Maddie are not on the show that much, that's fine. I mean, we're gonna see them in the third movie either way. I mean, the producer did say this is meant to be a character study of a series for Knuckles, so Knuckles is the main star plus Wade, so that's why the main focus is on Knuckles. Plus, whether if you care about the side human characters in the Sonic movies or not, it's honestly smart to choose Wade as a main human character. Yes, he's a comic relief, but it's better off for Maddie to depend on Wade rather than her sister Rachel, which, to be honest, she's my least favorite character in the Sonic movies just because she's funny, but she distracts away the main plot of those two movies, so I would take Wade Whipple over Rachel any day.
Put a ring on it! I'm done listening! I am done listening!
Shut up!
And to my defense for Wade, I'm not saying he's my favorite human character in the Sonic movies because my favorite human character is obviously Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik, which, fun fact, Wade has interacted with Jim Carrey's Robotnik twice. Not only that, but he gets to interact with Sonic and Tails, who helps him out in their mission, along with Tom, who actually saved his life from Robotnik, who happens to team up with Knuckles. So the point is, whether if you see Wade as a comic relief, he's actually very helpful for the people around him, whether it's Tom, whether it's Sonic or Tails, or anyone else that he knows, and now he's helping out Knuckles, which definitely makes a lot of sense for the show.
Let's go get him.
So as Knuckles moves in with Wade as they both go on a certain road trip together, which is definitely reflecting parallels between Sonic and Tom of having their road trip in the first Sonic movie. But the differences between the dynamics between Sonic and Tom and Knuckles and Wade is the fact that Sonic and Tom plays more of like a family type of dynamic between their duo, while Knuckles and Wade is definitely, without question, a full-on buddy comedy road trip type of duo, where Knuckles is a lot more stoic alpha Chad, while Wade is just a beta who's a more comic relief, which they both balance each other really well from the trailer, and that's what we're going to see more in the series.
Can I call you Nux?
No.
How about Nucky?
No.
Nuckington Bear?
No.
Sir Nux-a-lot?
No.
Fine.
Knuckles Cage.
Is it just me, or is it funny how the way Knuckles says no, which he constantly say that a lot in the promos of saying no?
No. 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 No.
Grapes was an interesting choice for someone who doesn't use fingers.
The grapes are delicious.
So as Wade agrees for Knuckles to be his personal training coach, that's where he decides to go to the bowling alley with Knuckles so Wade can train himself to become a better bowler for a bowling tournament, which leads to this next image where he's holding a W, a major fire W for Wade. Then we get these next two images that we've already seen in the trailer where Knuckles is fighting Kid Cudi. Freaking Kid Cudi. The same dude who sang that sweet banger song, Stars in the Sky for Sonic Movie 2, is playing a side henchman to fight Knuckles in the series next to this evil British woman who's tagging along with him to fight Knuckles.
Do I look like I need your power?
What are you talking about? Of course we need his power. It's the whole reason we're here.
What an interesting timeline that we're living in. Which, speaking of the villains, we also got a photo of the main villain of the series, which his name is The Buyer, and I'm pretty curious of why they call him that, but what we know from The Buyer, according to what he said in the trailer, he is a former ex-employee, or in this case, an ex-engineer that used to craft Robotnik's drones, aka the Batniks that you see in the movies. And also, he's utilizing Knuckles' quill to power all of his machines, which is exactly Robotnik's plan of taking Sonic's quills to power his machines in the first and second movie.
Ready the prototype.
With this kind of power, my machines can finally reach their full potential.
He's the key to power my newest creation.
You worked for Robotnik.
So when the Buyer's basically taking footsteps from Robotnik's plan of taking Knuckles' quill and power the machines of the drones ever since, Robotnik was quote-unquote gone after the explosion of Sonic 2, until he'll come back for Sonic 3.
I get it.
But since I'm aware of the Buyer's motives, this is definitely reminding me of the villain's plot in Spider-Man Homecoming. Think about it. You have the Vulture reusing scrap from Aftermath battles, and he's actually using that tech with a henchman that has an electric gauntlet that fights the main hero in red. Coincidence? I think not. Let's not forget, by the end of that trailer, we see the Buyer in this giant mech robot that reminds me of the Rhino from The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and grabbing Knuckles like he's Doc Ock in Spider-Man No Way Way Home. And just to make things even more uncanny, Knuckles' theme in Sonic Movie 2 sounds a lot like Tom Holland's Spider-Man theme and the MCU. Like, what? See? It's so weird, am I right? But anyway, I'm going off topic. About the villains themselves, it's nice to know that they tie in with Robotnik, especially since the agents have names like Agent Mason, Agent Willoughby. Surprisingly, Kid Cudi's not playing as himself. But I kind of wish they hired an anthropomorphic animal. Like, if it cannot be Rouge, then why not someone from the Team Hooligans like Fang or Bean or Bark or any of that, just to bring more Sonic characters to the series. But it's fine, it is what it is. As this image takes place in episode 2, which is titled, Don't Ever Say I Wasn't There For You, it appears that both of the agents has captured Knuckles into hostage, and I like that in this next image we see a nice little Easter egg to Ice Cap, which is obviously a reference to Ice Cap's Zone in Sonic 3, the video game, which is obviously adapted in live action in this huge action sequence in Sonic Movie 2.
Oh, great, the Winter Soldier.
As the second episode's title speaks for itself, we even got another image where Wade is walking out of fire like he's freaking James Bond, and I'm thinking he's bailing Knuckles out. Like, even in this next shot, we see Knuckles punching his way through a brick wall where Wade and Knuckles manage their escape to break out, where they fall off. Wade rides on Knuckles as he glides just like in the games, and I love this E.T. parody where they literally glide over the moon E.T. style. The ways of an Echidna warrior will always be right here. Come on, I can't be the only one who thought of that ETX Knuckles parody, and besides, E.T. is one of my favorite movies of all time. And now we're here with our first image on episode 3, the Shababat Dinner, which is directed by the cinematographer of the show, Brandon Truss, and we see Knuckles having some key lime pie to dessert next to this woman who happens to be Wade's mother. That's right, we're gonna see the Whipples family. Meet the Whipples on CBS. As a matter of fact, we have seen a sneak peek of Knuckles eating at the dinner table next to Wade's mom and Wade's sister, who happens to appear in the show as well.
I cannot stop eating it.
And now we're here with episode 4, titled The Flames of Disaster, and things are looking pretty goofy. Like, why the heck is Wade throwing up Rainbow Road? Is Mario gonna come out of his LSD addiction? Woohoo! And what on earth is this? Wade is dressed up as a furry? He's a furry! Kill him! I'm just kidding. It's kind of played for laughs that Wade is dressing up as Knuckles, which is ironic because I remember Ben Schwartz cosplay as Sonic for a comedy skit for Sonic 2, and now we're seeing Wade dressed up as Knuckles, and now we're seeing him in a Knuckles suit performing on a stage that looks like Angel Island Zone. I'm betting my calls that it's Angel Island because if you look at the coconut trees, it looks more like Angel Island than it is with Green Hill because, you know, Knuckles the Echidna lore. And by the way, is this supposed to be for a musical live performance of the Ugandan Knuckles? No the way, no the way.
Let us stand together, Knuckles strong. For Uganda, we're coming strong to set our Echidna tribe free. Do you know the way? Let us find the way, my brothers. We'll find the way. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh no.
So how on earth does this have to do with anything in the context of the plot? Well, I have another theory, which I'm speculating, since this is episode 4, and since we're seeing a lot of these fantasy sequences of Wade just performing in the Knuckles suit, we see him throwing up a rainbow, and I almost forgot, there's a couple of like owls in sort of a concert, which I'm thinking this is a part of a musical fantasy. And let's not forget, a major Echidna character who is Chief Pachacamac, let's just call him Mac. So here we have Mac with his Lorax-looking mustache. He used to be the original tribe leader of the Echidna Warriors back in Knuckles' origin story in Sonic Movie 2. But now that he's seen as a bowling employee, does that mean he's alive, or is he dead, or is this supposed to be a dream sequence? And fun fact, he is voiced by none other than Doc Brown himself, Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, great Scott! Great Scott!
Great Scott, indeed. I mean, it is pretty cool that Christopher Lloyd is voicing a familiar Sonic character. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would have loved to see him as Eggman's grandfather, Joe Robotnik, for Sonic Movie 3, but it is what it is. I say the casting still suits him. But now that he seems to be appearing in episode 4, I do have a speculation that this could connect with it. Since Knuckles is very focused on bowling when it comes to the main sport of the series, I definitely think it's giving me vibes of one famous bowling comedy movie, which is The Big Lebowski. There is a fantasy dream sequence, and since we're seeing Wade in a Knuckles outfit throwing up rainbows, and we see Mac being alive, voiced by Christopher Lloyd. I'm thinking that all of it is a dream sequence, but that's just part of my speculation. As episode 4 continues with this biker dude named Jack Sinclair, who basically whipped Wade's ankle by the end of that trailer, which, by the way, Wade's face kind of looks like Tobey Maguire. Am I the only one who thought of that? Knuckles, help me!
You gonna rescue him?
No, he must learn to rescue himself.
But all joking aside, we see Wade taking Knuckles' advice that he's grabbing a sword to face off the biker, which I realize it's the exact same motorcycle that Knuckles is gonna ride on with his iconic OVA cowboy hat, which we go to episode 5, which is titled Reno, baby, where he's wearing that iconic cowboy hat from the Sonic OVA movie, which, to be fair, Knuckles wears a cowboy hat, so did Sonic in the first Sonic film.
Howdy, partner!
As the images of episode 5 continues with another picture of the buyer, and look what we have here, we see Wade in his bowling jersey that says, Team Warrior. I guess he's living up to his motto to no longer be a joke because Knuckles has trained him to be a warrior.
I do not make jokes. I make warriors.
And now we get to images of the final episode, What Happens in Reno Stays in Reno, where we're first introduced to this British bowler himself named Pistol Pete Webbo, who's played by Cary Elwes. If you don't know who he is, he's mostly known in movies like The Princess Bride, Robin Hood Men in Tights, which is a funny movie, and who happens to be close friends with Jim Carrey, which is the reason why Cary Elwes agreed to be a part of the show. But by looking by his character's last name, does that mean he could be Wade's long-lost British brother or cousin or something like that? I mean, we do see a poster of them in Wade's room before Knuckles decided to be a bounty hunter through his room. And here's where we lead up to the final battle, where Knuckles faced the buyer in his giant mech with all of his quills to use the power to defeat him. Until then, we see Knuckles' ultimate fire power move, which is called the Flames of Disaster.
I am ready.
That's right, boys. Knuckles is about to go OP with his fiery fist hands. And as diehard Sonic fans will understand the reference Flames of Disaster, which is an obvious reference to the monster Iblis from Sonic 06, which is a nice reference to that, but with Knuckles' new fiery abilities. And by the way, I noticed that Wade is in the background in this screenshot because in the original trailer, he was nowhere to be seen. But it seems like Knuckles is ready to take down the buyer, as he's about to go down with a giant wrecking ball, and I think that's Wade that's going to help him out. And then boom, they just save the day, and then they save the bowling alley, and then Knuckles Cage and Wade Wimple will ride off to the sunset as they save Reno. And there you have it, my royal chums. That's my analytical breakdown of all the brand new images for the upcoming Knuckles series. But before I go, here's some special info from one of the producers, Toby Asher, who talks more about the direction of the show, but also the possibilities for future spin-offs in the Sonic Cinematic Universe. So the producer here has expressed his excitement for expanding the characters in the world of television, specifically just because it gives the platform to give Knuckles a character study in his own TV show, while he knows like Shadow the Hedgehog coming to Sonic 3 and all of the bigger stuff they want to do, the Sonic franchise on the movie side is meant to be an Avengers level event from all 3 movies, including future ones, where they're meant to be big, more exciting, and have a lot of different characters in it. But for television, it gives more time to get more in depth with the more supporting characters like Knuckles and Wade and many other characters that are being introduced. Which he does have a point, because if the Sonic movies are meant to be these big scale Avengers level events, then the TV shows like Knuckles are definitely more in depth with the characters, and that's what I like about it. The movies are more huge in plot, and then for character studies like Knuckles, that's what the TV shows are more like. I mean, if Knuckles can go in depth with his character arc in his own spin-off series, I strongly believe that they can do the same for Shadow the Hedgehog. I mean, I heard rumors that they're planning to make a Shadow spin-off after the 3rd movie, but for a character like him, it makes the most sense to go more not just to his backstory, but take inspirations from Shadow lore and actually make that as a TV show. So Shadow will be a good one, and they can expand to like many other Sonic characters. They can definitely introduce fan favorite ones like Team Chaotix, Team Dark, or even Big the Cat, for crying out loud. Like, the possibilities are endless, dare I say. Man, I love that song so much. But anyway, just to connect with the Sonic Cinematic Universe tie-ins, there's this quote-unquote leak that I saw online, so take this with a huge grain of salt. So apparently this leak is supposed to be a quote-unquote contract that Paramount is allowed to have the rights to adapt any of these Sonic games for their Sonic movies, which clearly Sonic Movie 3 is an adaptation of Sonic Adventure 2, but I'm surprised to see Sonic Heroes, Sonic 06, heck, we even see the first Sonic Adventure game, Sonic Riders, and surprisingly Sonic Colors, but no Sonic Unleashed? That's surprising, so we're not going to see the Werehog being adapted to the Sonic Cinematic Universe? Well, that's a shame. But why Sonic Colors? Why does that deserve to be adapted into the movies? That makes no sense. But Sonic Riders, I could see that happening. The Team Babylon Rogues to this universe could work. I mean, that could work for a Paramount Plus show, but I'm not sure about a movie. But heck yes, Sonic Heroes and Sonic 06, I say that's the perfect direction for either your 4th or 5th movie, and I could totally see characters like Silver, Blaze, Metal Sonic, and all the teams of Sonic Heroes all together in this universe. And lastly, the producer did not close the doors on the possibilities of future seasons of Knuckles. So meaning, if the series goes well in terms of ratings, success, and for the story, we could possibly get a second season of Knuckles in the future. I mean, if Peacemaker and Loki could get 2 seasons, why can't it be the same for Knuckles too? So with all of this information covered, this couldn't get me even more excited for the Knuckles series. I cannot wait to watch all 6 episodes on Paramount Plus on April 26th, and I will be making a full in-depth review when I go watch all 6 episodes. But regardless, I cannot wait to see for what's next in the Sonic Cinematic Universe for the upcoming Knuckles TV show and Sonic Movie 3 coming out later this Christmas. But anyway, thank you guys so much for enjoying my 20-minute ramble of the Knuckles series, and I'll definitely see you guys in the next video. Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Knuckles, trailer online now.
Oh, ratio, Knuckles.
Oh no.
Shut up!